Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast, where tonight we head to Texas with ANZCAR in the XFINITY Thunder Series. And we've got 120 laps here tonight. Last week we saw Brenton Hobson take out the win at Chicagoland. First win in ANZCAR. He's running here again tonight. Can he back it up with a double? Got a few drivers missing, maybe with the State of Origin, maybe not. But they are certainly not here tonight. So it's an open field, and we're going to do one thing, and that's for sure, which is to crown another victor in another ANZCAR race. I'm going to be joined by Carl Withy again tonight, so don't go too far. We're about to tune in to the pre-race and get this one underway. Good evening, everyone, and we are back and live. Practice here, not even 12 minutes to go here. We've got 6 minutes to go until qualifying begins, and it's Jaden Russell on screen at the moment, just doing some practice. He's currently third in the warm-up session, and last week's race winner, Brenton Hobson, actually quickest here so far. Hamish Gallagher, perennial winner here in the Xfinity Series, our first multiple winner this season, currently sitting in second. As I said in the intro, joined by Carl Withy. Carl, good evening.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody out there. Welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you for a rather chilly Texas, actually. It's not that warm out there. It is creeping in tonight. I think the track temperature is down to about 23 degrees at the moment. Air temperature about 21. So that's going to make things interesting. It's not looking like it's going to be an easy drive for those guys tonight as well.
Yeah, well, talking about it just as the intros are running in there, watching a little bit of the practice sessions, and you were remarking how the cars are looking a little bit like ploughs this evening, which is apt given how cold it is across the country at the moment.
Yeah, we might actually need to see a few ploughs out with the current temperature drop across Australia, with that lovely Arctic temperatures coming up. It's very cold at the moment, but these cars are really struggling tonight. Obviously, the Xfinity car a bit different to the Cup car, less downforce, less grip in them. Here on Texas, that can be a little bit tricky as well. This circuit can catch you out quite quickly, but a lot of the drivers seem to be struggling with a lot of understeer, sort of very tight car, as you call it in NASCAR, and then it does get loose as well. It sort of seems to be getting loose mid-corner or on the exit, so it's sort of this horrible mix of having a tight and loose car at the same time.
Yeah, and I did mention at the top of the show, missing a few of the usual runners. Michael Skurlock seems to be on hiatus at the moment. He has not been around for the last few races. Having said that, though, he does run in a lot, so we'll give him a little bit of a reprieve. Dave Douglas as well, missing tonight. And the Godfather himself, Edward Foster, not in the race this evening too. So there's those three missing. In fact, I'm just looking through the list here and noticing more as well, as Joshua Carroll Walden is missing tonight. So we've got a few outs.
Yeah, quite a few missing in action, actually. Some big storms over in, I can't remember which state it was now, but over somewhere, with a fair few drivers getting caught out from some big power cuts and stuff like that. So I know a few drivers have gone out because there's been some power outages across the country. So that's never fun. And obviously a lot of storms going on at the moment as well. It's been quite bad down in South Australia with a lot of heavy rain and things like that, which often causes us havoc in SA.
Yeah, and of course Lachlan Urquio, one of those who said he is affected by that power outage. So he's made his apologies for tonight, and he won't be running because of exactly that. So plenty across the country. But look, we've got a grid of 23 here tonight. And with the cars behaving the way that they are and the track that we are at, it's probably not the worst thing to have a slightly shallower field. So a number of the quick guys still running. Josh Micklemore, our winner from the Truck Series on Monday night, he is here. We've got Ryan Jones, who is incredibly quick as well. So those guys will be pushing. Luke Trahair, Ruben Phelps as well, Andrew Dyson. So we've got a really good group at the top of drivers who are going to potentially be able to make it stick.
Yeah, don't discount people like Brenton West. We saw he's been having an absolute stellar season so far, getting some really good consistent finishes up in the top 10 positions. He's worked his way up well in the championship. Don't discount Norman Clark as well, because he is very crafty. He's got a lot of experience under his belt. He's somebody that might do good in this kind of track climate where it is just a bit tricky tonight. So a lot of the experienced drivers will be looking to capitalise on this race, being that it is so tricky out on track.
Yeah, and another one of those, of course, Mr. Sheen himself getting a podium at Monday night's race in the truck. So let's look out for him as well. So yeah, look, as always in motorsport, anyone can win on the night. Rain's not the great equaliser on iRacing yet, but that saying still holds true given the track conditions. It could be anyone's race tonight. We've got 23 out here, and we'll get to qualifying underway in just over 90 seconds time. So qualifying, if it's the first time you've joined an ANZCAR race on FGM eCars, qualifying here solo, of course, as it would be. So these guys will get 2 laps to put in their very best. What do you reckon, Carl, tonight? Are we going to see first or second lap be the fastest here?
It's actually tricky. I think we're probably going to see the first lap be some of the fast laps just as a banker lap more, so I think people are going to be struggling on that second lap a little bit. The car's just so twitchy. I think it's just going to be easy to make a mistake, so I think people are going to want to actually use that first lap wisely, get the banker in, and they might just push a little bit more on that second lap, and we may see a few more mistakes, although the second lap might be a tad quicker. So I think we'll see a lot of first laps actually doing well, because I think the second lap they're going to be pushing a bit harder and just making a little mistake. Before we go into qualifying though, just going to run through the championship order as it stands. Hamish Gallagher is leading 20 points ahead of Dave Douglas and Ruben Phelps as well. They are in joint second place. Down in 4th position is Josh Micklemore, 26 points behind. Brenton West, 28 points down in 5th. 6th is Joshua Carroll, 31 points down. Norman Clark in 7th, 36 down. Stephen Williams in 8th, 48 points behind the leader. And in joint 9th place, we have Christopher Finley and Michael Skurlock, 50 points off the leader. People like Christopher Finley could be looking at a good night to capitalise on a few people missing out tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. From what you just said there's going to be plenty of changes potentially in the order. But the one thing that everyone's going to have to watch out for is that man Hamish Gallagher. What a run he has had here in the XFINITY series in the Taylor Swift liveried Ford entry. So we might, in fact, even jump on board with him tonight as championship leader. Hopefully he's going to pop out early for us and do the right thing, as it looks like he is out on track now. And we'll ride around with Taylor and Hamish as they get around here at Texas to bring us the first of the qualifying laps, Carl.
Yeah, Tay and Hey on board with tonight. Hamish Gallagher going to give us a good lap hopefully tonight, and he's one of those drivers I'm expecting to see well up there in qualifying times. So we're going to come through the final set of corners here and start our flying lap of Texas Motor Speedway. We've got 2.4 kilometers in length, a little bit of a dogleg across the start finish line as we start our lap into turn 1. Going to come in here at around about 290, 300 kilometers an hour, lifting off, getting the car in, making sure the tail doesn't get too out of shape. You can see Hamish just working the wheel there, getting back on the power, gets nice and close to the wall there. You've got to get on the power just at the right moment here at Texas, into turns 3 and 4. Again, lifting off the accelerator a little bit, just getting the car planted, waiting for that tail to start settling down before you put the accelerator back on. Get across the line for a lap of the Texas Motor Speedway.
Good run there. We'll just stick on board here. We're just wanting to see the top speed we get here. You said about 280. I think you're spot on actually with where Hamish got to there. So we just got it up there on the right hand corner of the screen, 290 just as he heads into the turn. So he's certainly getting up there in pace and car with no error. He currently is second with that first lap around. Has he done any better this time? He's looking to get to 29.91. Bang, straight to the top for Hamish Gallagher with his second lap around. We'll jump on board with Brenton Hobson now. He's challenging for the pole position here. Let's see how he fares. Hobson running in the 54. Hobbo, as he's known, he's got, I'm pretty sure he's got his own Twitch and certainly YouTube channel as well. So if you want to watch a little bit more on board with Hobbo, jump onto his stream and have a look at that as well. Of course, while you're there, give us a subscribe too, as Hobbo heads across the line and goes 29.83. Bang, second lap around. He has managed to put it on provisional pole. Jaden Russell currently in third. Brenton West has ended up in fourth in one of Carl's favourite liveried cars, the Tom's Super Castrol livery there. And he's sitting in third. You do love that one. You get Luke Trahere here now. Crank Esports, a little bit underrepresented tonight, but Mirko Dortnak and Luke Trahere will be doing their very best to get Crank to the top of the charts tonight in the 43 Toyota Supra entry. He's just about to come across and complete his first lap here. So where will that place him? Seeing that second lap here is, for our leaders anyway, has certainly been a stronger lap. So Luke there just with a 39.3. Good banker lap to get in before he pushed a little harder this second time around. Teammate Mirko Dortnak just in front of him. So Mirko's just going to complete his second lap. You get a bit loose there. Coming out of four, gets across the line. And I doubt he actually does a big improvement there, 30.45. Jumps himself a fair way up the table. Without that little slide there, you figure he probably would have jumped up well inside the top 10, just finishing 9th as it stands. And Luke Trahere, bang, goes 4th. So second lap around, proving to be okay. The cloud covers come over the track as well, so that might have helped, albeit not too hot tonight. Ryan Jones, another one to jump on board with and watch. A 111. Jonesy always a little bit, whingy is the wrong word for it. Unhappy is the right word for it. Unhappy with his qualifying performances given his strength in practice, but he's currently sitting in 5th as he's got real loose there, and that's going to spoil the lap for him. So he will probably end up starting in 5th place in the 111 entry. He had a good race on Tuesday night in the trucks, ending up finishing second.
Second, yeah.
Second.
A really good run for him. He's just struggling a little bit with that qualifying pace, Ryan. And as I said, that second lap is, you've got to get that banker lap in, and he did get that banker lap perfectly in there, getting it up into P5 on that first run. Just pushed a little bit harder on that second run, and all of a sudden that tail just gets very unhappy, and the car steps out. Matt Hunter right now on board with Matty Hunter, of course, one of the members of the ANZCAR top brass, of course, doing a good job out there tonight, and he's going to want to get a good qualifying run in the Vision Motorsport car. Vision looking at entering their first 24-hour race, but that is not what you want to do for Matt Hunter. There just gets loose. Just gets loose on the exit there. That car just started stepping out, and bang, that's the end of his qualifying chances for tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have time to get around again. And that will do him for the evening. I was going to say Ryan Jones there as well. With that 30-10 that he did, probably he would have gone close to getting up towards the front row of the grid with the second lap being faster. So he'll be a little bit disappointed, but as you say, banker lap all important, gets him to start in 5th. What we will do, however, to give you the full rundown on it after all of that, is we will go to our race grid and let's have a look at what it is we've got. Ryan Jones there just saying that he missed the mark on qualifying, putting in top 10, coming in 5th. That's pretty much echoing our comments. But let's roll through the grid here. Brenton Hobson takes a pole position here. I think that's also his first pole position after his win here last week. Hamish Gallagher in 2nd. We've got Jaden Russell and Luke Trahere off row 2 with Ryan Jones and Brenton West off row 3. Andrew Dyson, Kate Donnelly off 4 with Gary Wellman and Josh Micklemore off row 5. Then it's Mirko Dortnak even and Tristan Koch off row 6. We'll flip over the page here and have a look at Norm Clark and Troy Davison off 7. Christopher Finlay, Aaron Dillon off row 8. With Noddy Tompkins and Ruben Phelps off row 9. Look out for Ruben to make his way through. Greg Spencer with Matty Raymond, another one that we've got to keep an eye on, off 11. We've got Matty Hunter, Steve Hoppert off 12, and Michael Shaw off the back row of the grid for our race here tonight at Texas. We've got 120 laps here tonight, so it is a long one. The guys are going to need to manage themselves throughout that period, just to make sure that they make it to the end, because of course, as always, to finish first you have to finish. Tyres, as always, will be a issue for them, and here tonight the tyre sets are unlimited. So they will be able to use as many of those digital rubber compound as they can. And we're just waiting here for the rest of the grid to get onto the field. Carl, what are we looking for tonight?
Well, the main thing is going to be watching out for the back end of the cars. You don't want to have that back end stepping out, and a lot of people have been struggling with that. So keep an eye for that part of the cars. One of the big thing as well is Texas is still a fast place. It is still a very fast speedway, not as fast as it used to be, but it is still incredibly quick. And a small mistake here can soon turn into a very large one, unfortunately. And I've got a feeling we might have lost Josh Micklemore, unfortunately. Seems like he may have some connection issues. Again, a real shame if we've lost Josh Micklemore this early in the race.
Absolutely, that is a big shame. So, see if he won't make it in now, so he is going to be out for this one. That is very disappointing. Aiden Schultz sends his regards. He has taken to the Origin. Aiden, make sure he keeps up to date, mate, on the scores. Let's go New South Wales. Let's get a win up there in Townsville tonight as we bring you the best in oval track racing in Australia. ANZCAR Thunder Series, and we're going to get underway here with Brenton Hobson and Hamish Gallagher leading the pack away. There is a gap there, and that will be filled very quickly. Just said, unfortunately, Josh Micklemore just falling out of the field, and it will be Brenton Hobson who's going to lead us away for the very first time here. The field just compressing up. Pace truck will get ready to duck in. And what are the chances, Carl, of a green to green here?
I'm going to go slim to none, in all honesty. I'm hoping to be proven wrong, but we will hope for a green to green run. Watch out for Hamish Gallagher on that outside, and watch out for Jaden Russell behind. Jaden Russell very, very quick. Ryan Jones as well. He's always got good speed at the start, but Brenton Hobson is going to lead us away. The pace car is going to peel into pit lane. Brenton Hobson gets to lead away his first ANZCAR race from pole position. When does he drop the hammer? He drops it now, gets a really good start there. Jaden Russell getting pulled along with him, getting underneath Hamish Gallagher there. You can see Ryan Jones battling it out with Luke Traher. Luke Traher just getting a nose ahead at the moment. There's a bit of a battle down in the mid-pack, but up the front, we have Brenton Hobson leading the way. Jaden Russell pushing on that low line, getting past Hamish Gallagher on the start. Jaden Russell getting a great run out of a corner. He's going to be looking to put some pressure on Hobbo at the front. You can see how quick he is there.
What a great run we've got there as well. Traher just moving down in front of Jones just to cement that position at the moment. Only one change in our top five with Jaden Russell, Hamish Gallagher switching positions. We're on the front of the Gallagher. Hamish Gallagher, that is Mobile at the moment, the 13. Taylor Swift pushing him along with her lyrics, but he is currently just minding his own business at the moment. This lead pack quite content as Andrew Dyson tries to close up on the back of it as well.
Yeah, watch out for Andrew Dyson. He's one of those guys that is very, very quick. He's looking for more of that consistency on the ovals at the moment, looking to improve them because we know he's quick on the twisty stuff. But we've got some guys out there that have come in with an absolute storm. And you can see Jaden Russell just putting the pressure on Brenton Hobson once more up the front of the 28, just trying to go underneath with 54, not quite making it. But that's just put Luke Traher a little bit out of position behind. That's going to give Ryan Jones the opportunity to pass. He's going to go down the inside. The 111 is going to have a nice run here on Luke Traher. You're going to see Ryan Jones just slot in front of Traher there. Nice move by Ryan. He's going to want to try and work his way up. Hamish Gallagher's not looking to push too quickly, it seems. Last week may have just been the thing, just to slam down a little bit at the starts, just not put too much pressure on himself, and try not to get caught up in anything, of course, because last time out we saw him just clip the wall early in the race, and that cost him that victory, unfortunately. So keeping the car clean is going to be key here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Jones there getting the job done on Luke Traher. He's now up on the back of Taylor Swift, and she is absolutely putting the elbows out, Hamish Gallagher there, just to make sure he stays where he is. We know Jones can be aggressive, likes to get the job done and move up and control his race. So he will certainly be putting the pressure on the back of the number 13 car. We've also got Jaden Russell at the front here, putting the pressure on Brenton Hobson, who's lapping it up at the moment. Doesn't seem to be disturbing him too much. He's just running his own race. We've got a long way to go here, still 115 laps left in this one. We've had a green start so far, good driving from everyone as we jump a little bit further back down the field to Gary Wellman. We're on the nose of his car. He has Troy Davison right behind him, giving him some hassle along this group of four cars, which is Donnelly, Hock, Wellman and Davison, all battling away. This is for positions 8 through 11, my apologies. and it's nice and close.
Aaron Dillon just lurking there at the back. It's a lot of Sim Boys cars there behind Tristan Cock. See that team just working their way up there, just working together at the moment, sort of keeping themselves in check as it stands. Very impressed with the start here. Good job from all the drivers. We saw it last time out though. Very, very well driven race with green to green results. At the moment you can see Hamish Gallagher's got Ryan Jones on his outside. Up the front though, those two are starting to battle it out. Ryan Jones was just trying to make the move on Hamish, just trying to get him out of position a little bit. So Ryan is starting to apply the pressure. And you can see he's just trying to go up on that high line. He's going to go there. Gets very close there. That's going to push Ryan out wide. He might just get away with this because he's going to force Hamish Gallagher low. That's going to cost him a little bit of time on the exit. You might see Luke Trahair try the pass as well, depending on how much Weetabix he ate this morning. But Ryan Jones gets the move done on Hamish Gallagher.
Yeah, good move there from Ryan Jones, that's for sure. You can see there, just off in the background, Hamish Gallagher just trying to make his way back up onto the back here. We've also got Luke Trahair in there, just dropping off ever so slightly. He's got Andrew Dyson right behind him. Dyson will be looking for a bounce back in this one, as you just see there. Sorry, Carl, I know what you're going to say. Jonesy's gone past Russell and made the move as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, watch Russell just appear in the background from that onboard shot. Ryan Jones is on an absolute charge to get to the front of this field at the moment. Those two very nearly made contact. There was just a cigarette paper between the two cars through turns 1 and 2. So he is really turning the screws at the moment, Ryan Jones. We do see him putting on a lot of pace early in a stint, but sometimes comes back to bite him later in a stint as his tyres do fall off a little bit. At the moment, though, he's got great speed and he's helping Hamish Gallagher a little bit here. Just get dragged along on that bottom line. Hamish Gallagher's just got past Russell. He's going to try and get past Hobson as Jones takes the lead.
Yeah, what a good start here for Ryan Jones. He'll be looking to close this one out. So we're now looking out the right-hand rear side of Jones's car, and we've got our first caution of the night, Noddy Tompkins.
Yeah, Noddy has gone up into the wall, unfortunately, and his car has gone around. We'll try and get the replay of that one. He has gone nose in and then rolled it up the track and been in a bit of a no man's land. As you can see, just edging it down the track there, but very, very close there. And yeah, he's sort of managed to keep the car going, but that's going to be pretty much the end of Noddy's race. Unfortunately, Noddy Tompkins going to be pretty much out of this one, but very close there for
Michael Shaw. We're on board with there. Just trying to make his way through the smoke, so he did a good job to get through there. Great livery on that one as well from Shaw. The mellow yellow, of course, the famous Days of Thunder movie, and yeah, great one there. I love that livery. So good for Shuri to get that on there. Surprised, actually. Shuri normally runs a tailored livery, but he's gone with the 51 tonight of mellow yellow colour. Interesting to see.
Yeah, we've got a few cars opting for pit lane as well. Christopher Finlay, Matt Hunter, Greg Spencer, Michael Shaw is coming in. So those guys have come into pit lane. So we'll see how that one goes. Just hearing over the radio, their tyre set's actually limited to 4 sets tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a change, isn't it?
I think that is.
Yeah. Right.
So we've gone back to limited tyre sets again. So that is always fun, because I actually prefer limited tyre sets because it does add a little bit more strategy into the whole field. So we'll see if those guys coming in decided to just go for fuel, or if some of them decided to go for some tyres as well. I'm just keeping an eye on it. But it's going to change things up a lot for these guys, because obviously with limited tyre sets, you don't want to burn them up too quickly. So I'm pretty sure everybody that came into pit lane just splashed some more fuel on there just to go a little bit longer in this stint.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe not feeling it too much there, the guys. So they've decided at the front there not to jump into pit lane. If you're wondering why there's white cars running around on the track there, we've just refreshed the liveries there that the drivers run, just to make sure that Michael Shaw is actually running that mellow yellow livery, because we don't want to get into trouble for running the wrong number this evening. So we've just done the refresh there, and we'll see what comes back up. But we are under our first caution period here. We had 11 or 10 laps without a caution period. A good, healthy start. Ryan Jones making the one of the bigger moves. He's up 4 spots and he will lead us away at the restart here. And the greatest change so far, of course, are we surprised that we're saying this man's name, Ruben Phelps? He is up 5 positions at the moment and has moved up into 14th, along with Matty Ray. He is up 5 positions as well. And I believe Steve Hoppett and Aaron Dillon may be in the same circumstance. But we're just refreshing after the pit stops too, so that might be a little inaccurate, but we'll see what we come up with as we get under the restart here. And in fact, I am glad that we refreshed that one there because Michael Shaw running the Activity Hub Bali livery as I suspected he might be. So sorry about that, Shory, with the wrong livery there. That's all fixed up, mate. But that mellow yellow one is still a favourite of ours.
Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, training paints can be a little bit iffy sometimes because yeah, it's still showing up on my screen. But what's important is it's showing up the right colours on the stream because that's what we need to make sure is in the correct point.
No, in fact, it still is. I was looking at I think Greg Spencer's car. So anyway, that's fine. We'll move along.
We'll move along. We won't speak any more of that one. Ryan Jones going to lead us away as the green drops. He gets a good start there ahead of Brenton Hobson. You can see Hamish Gallagher trying to force his way down the inside. Doesn't quite make it this time round, but as they come into the first corner, he's going to try. Andrew Dyson trying his luck around.
Gone. Mirko Dornack gone in the background there. We're back under caution. Sorry to cut across you. I saw it just at the top of the screen there. Let's have a look back with Mirko and see what it is that happened.
His engine's gone. Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
And he had no accident damage whatsoever on that truck, on that car.
No. I wonder if he missed a gear, if he shifted down to the wrong
Let's
gear.
jump on board, shall we?
Yeah. I'm going to have a bit of a watch on my side and a bit of a listen.
Interesting. It redlined, but it doesn't sound like he missed a gear.
No. As you saw, it did redline a little bit there.
The engine's running in pit lane, so that's really weird.
I've got no idea what happened there to Mirko. That was bizarre.
It's some bad luck is what it is. Hopefully, I'm not sure if he'll get that fixed or not, because obviously generally when the motor goes, you're done, but yeah, very, very interesting.
Definitely a new feature to iRacing. Engine failures from random moments.
You know what? Though we have seen this before with iRacing. There is an update due tonight, but there was a problem at some stage with the V8 supercar where it was around October last year, running at the 1000. Where people were complaining that they would just be, and it happened to us, that they'd be driving down Conrod or up down Conrod or up the mountain and their motor would just let go.
Yeah, but those were generally just the Holdens, weren't they?
Were they? Maybe. I feel like maybe not.
I feel like I'm going to get half the audience hating me for that and half cheering me for that one, I'm sure.
Well, we were in a Holden when it happened, but there was no signs of it either. The engine just lost a little bit of power and then pinged and it was done. So yeah, very interesting. Anyway.
Yeah, strange one for sure. It's that's really bizarre. I mean, obviously, being a fixed setup series, you can't go changing things like tape and stuff like that. So you can't sort of go and chuck tons and tons of tape on the car and have that expire on you quickly because you're running a qualifying setup. So really not sure on that one. That's a bizarre one, but we'll move on from there and hopefully we'll find out what happened to Mirko there, other than one of the Cranky Sports engines just letting go on him.
Well, the only other thing I was quickly thinking is maybe if the engine got hot, if he was sitting up the car in front of him on the drive around. I was trying to look on the gauges there to see if any of them are, if the temperature gauge is too high. But there's no warning light on either. So yeah, it's just a real mystery, that one, and disappointing for Mirko to go out in that way.
Yeah, that's it. It is bizarre because normally, look, especially with if the air temperature was up in the 50s or something like that, then, or high 40s, sorry, you know, you'd sort of go, yeah, okay, that's possible. But it's very cool out there tonight. It is night time, and it's not a super speedway, so that engine is not going to be getting that hot this early after you know, a handful of laps. So yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be engine temperature related unless Mirko sped that whole green flag run up
in first gear and
in
first gear, clutching, revving the bejesus out of it.
Yeah, and I definitely did not see that from Mirko. So yeah, that's just an absolute bizarre one there. So well, it gave us something interesting to talk about at least as the second caution came out. That one was definitely not an expected caution because that was a bit of a bizarre one, but we'll hopefully get back to some green flag racing. A few more people have chosen to come back into pit lane, just chuck a bit more fuel on board. So Gary Wellman and Matt Hunter both came into pit lane this time, as well as Michael Shaw. So those guys have topped the cars up, so they're planning to go nice and long on this stint. The pace car lights still on, so they should go out this time round as the cars start forming up side by side. A bit of a long safety pace car section there. I think a few people just out of position, and iRacing just having a moment of wobbliness. But Ryan Jones is going to get to lead away once more. Will he be able to get the jump on Hamish Gallagher once more, though? Because Hamish has already seen Ryan Jones pull the trigger once. He now knows what to expect, now knows what to look out for. So this could be detrimental to Ryan. So we'll see how this restart goes for him in that lovely-looking 111 car with the pink, of course, for his mum. And we wish Ryan Jones's mum a very good recovery and hope she's doing well.
Absolutely, it's a cool thing.
So Hamish Gallagher's sitting there waiting to go behind. We've got the teammates of Hobson and Russell, of course. They are both looking at getting this one on. Got to say a big thank you to Locked On Lads and Locked On iRacing for letting me know a little bit more about Hobson and Russell, because I hear about their exploits in some of the other series, and obviously are very, very quick on the twisty stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Dyson in that grouping as well. I was looking over the Scops V8 Supercar results the other day, and he just popped slightly inside the top 10, I believe it was, for qualifying for their latest round. So Dyson, no surprise he was dominant here, and geez, I tell you what, Ryan Jones not wasting any seconds at all. As soon as that pace car moved down, he has gone and run away at this early part of the restart. He's got under control here. Hamish Gallagher, good start too. Hobson Russell went with him. Dyson, that man there, just battling away at the moment with Trahair. Trahair on the back left-hand quarter of Jaden Russell as we move through. Dyson got squeezed there, and he got squeezed, and he got down into Trahair. And Trahair there, he's managed to, what's going on there in front of him? The 113 as well of Brenton West gets up into the fence, and we've got no caution. No caution at all.
No caution. They managed to keep the cars pointing in the right direction there. I think that was a bit of a result of Luke Trahair, because I think Aaron Dillon got underneath and caught Brenton West. The caution is out now, unfortunately. So...
yeah, that was for, I think, for Dillon as well, just there. Just didn't quite get back into it, and maybe Steve Hare caught him out. Try and go back here. I'm going to have to find the pass here. It'll be, might be a little bit early, but we'll jump back here and have a look at Andrew Dyson there and Trahair just closing up on one another. And then we'll stick with Trahair. And yeah, you're right, Dillon there, just trying to avoid Trahair. Got down into Brenton West, into the rear quarter of Brenton West, and that caused that issue there. And then Dillon...
and a little bit later on, he's just turned Hoppet, so just had a... I think I heard on the radio that he might have had a slight mechanical issue and just got into the back quarter panel of Steve Hoppet. Steve Hoppet, really unfortunate there in the 131. Long-time friends of the series, Steve Hoppet, from way back in the day as well. So a big shame to see Mr. Hoppet with that damage on the front of that car this early as well. That's not what he would have wanted to have happen with this one. So, yeah, very unlucky there for Steve Hoppet.
Tell you what, Trahair's got lucky there, completely got right up into the fence there, but you can see the damage to the right-hand front corner of the Crank Esports entry, mild to say the least, given what happened.
Yeah, he got lucky indeed as Jaden Russell comes into pit lane with Luke Trahair, unsurprisingly for Luke, because he's going to want to get some damage repaired. Not much damage though, he did get quite lucky in that one. Really, really well held by both Dyson and Trahair. Just going back and having another look at that incident just to work out, sort of, just to get a bit of an idea of what happened. It just looks like Trahair's just got a little bit tight on the exit and Dyson's got nowhere to go other than the wall, and those two made contact, but they both managed to keep the car pointing in the same direction, and a really good save there, but unfortunately caught a few people by surprise and they just got a little bit loose avoiding them, as you can see with Brenton West behind him, and just having that moment of catching there. Aaron Dillon just getting caught, I think, by Luke Trahair, and that caught Brenton West. So really, really unfortunate little chain reaction there in that incident. So as you can see up on the stream right there, that's Andrew Dyson just getting caught up against the wall. Nowhere to go there for the DPR driver. Not much you can do in that situation. It's very tricky, but then you see Aaron Dillon just getting pinged down into Brenton West. So, those guys got pretty lucky though, because there's not a huge amount of damage on their cars, so they're still in with a shout tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you what, Andrew Dyson will be happy that he got out of that with just a scratch, and so will Trahair. So, just having a look here at Brenton West as he goes past on the slow-mo. Damage, obviously, the right-hand front corner of the Castrol Supra, but nothing too diabolical there, and they should be able to get through the rest of the night without too many problems. So it is Ryan Jones still leading out of that one. He is yet to do a stop. Jones, Gallagher, Hobson, Dyson, Donnelly, Phelps and Davison all still on first set of tyres. Our first of the pit stop entrants is Christopher Finlay, currently running in 8th. He did pit, however, on our last caution. Gary Wellman on the second to last caution as well. So we've got a mixed field here. Jaden Russell, Brenton West, the Luke Trahair, all pitted this time around of our lead pack. So the lead pack's going to change here. So we'll throw up a few extra curveballs when we do get underway. Ryan Jones has been dynamite on these restarts tonight. You've got to wonder if he's going to play with the strategy a little bit here. He's been dropping the hammer as soon as the pace car turns into pit lane. Obviously the pack will get used to that, so he may need to vary it up a little bit if he doesn't want to get caught out here. Hamish Gallagher, of course, extremely experienced, so he will be fronting up to these issues. The restart last time a little more even as well. Brenton Hobson will be looking to go. Dyson experienced enough now as well to know what to do, so minimise the wheel spin, get the cars away as quickly as you can, and I think Jones is going to have to vary the strategy up a little bit here, or he'll end up getting caught out.
Yeah, I was just listening a little bit to the driver's radio just a little bit back, and I think I have an answer for what happened to Mirko there. I think he might have missed the gear, so I think he's shifted it down into second, and that's what caused the engine to go bang.
Yeah, I did message him in the Discord, didn't get a response, so I was hoping he might have let us know that. Interesting, because we didn't see that on the footage, but that would certainly explain it. The engines don't generally like being downshifted when they need to go upshift.
No, and that's the joy of having an H-pattern gearbox sometimes. I love running an H-pattern when driving these cars because it just gives you that proper feel, but it's so easy to miss a gear and it's so easy to make a mistake. I had one of the teeth come off of an H-pattern once mid-race, and that made things a lot harder, but luckily that's all fixed up now. But it does add a little bit of extra difficulty, of course. Depending on your sim rig, of course, you could be using sequential shifts or H patterns, of course. It does differ things up a little bit, and that's one of the strange curiosities of sim racing sometimes is, you sort of, depending on your gear, will depend on how you change your gears.
Yeah, most drivers, or not most, I shouldn't say most at all, actually, completely anecdotal, but, some people then get the option of it, making it more realistic, and sitting with that H pattern, of course, that these guys still run in these cars. The new ones, are they paddle?
They are a
sequential.
sequential stick, those ones, so that's going to change things up a little bit. You can see Hamish Gallagher getting caught out there by Ryan Jones. He just went a little bit too quickly. Ryan Jones was just waiting there a little bit longer. Hamish just got caught out by that, and Ryan took advantage of that. Hamish having to drop off the accelerator and drop back behind Ryan Jones there. Beautiful restart by Ryan Jones in the triple 11. He did a triple one, sorry. He did a great job on that restart, as we've got cars going 4 wide in the background with Jaden Russell and Luke Traher just absolutely going mad at the back on, I imagine, some fresh tyres as well. So those guys are going to come climbing up the field relatively quickly, but they've got to be careful not to get involved in any little cautions or wrecks in this pack.
Yeah, absolutely. You've picked it like a dirty nose there. Traher will be looking to work with Russell to make his way through the field. And they're both on the freshest tyres out of anyone, and Matty Hunter just in front of them. He equally is on a fresher set of tyres, 6 laps older than Traher and Russell, but he will be a little bit pacier than the guys in front of him. They may have just plateaued a little bit, but we'll see what the 28 and the 43 can do here to make their way back through the pack. They'll be hoping that there is no caution period now for a little while, so they can make advantage of that stop, and the guys at the front will be looking for another one. Probably at around lap sort of 35 or so they can jump in and get a fresh set of rubber on their cars. So let's see how this one plays out. It's going to be very interesting for the next 10 laps or so to see what happens. How far up can Jaden Russell and Luke Traher get in this pack? You know what, as well, Brenton West, even with that little bit of damage, he's on new tyres too, so he's looking pacey in the Castrol Supra. Should call it the Tom's Supra, really. The Tom's Supra behind Luke Traher. So these three here working together, try and make their way up the field as far as they can. In fact, even Tristan Cock now jumped onto the back of this pack. So let's see how they go, as there has been a change at the front here. Hamish Gallagher's got past Ryan Jones at the front of this pack. So Jonesy there, just not quite able to hold out old Taylor Swift. She's putting on a good concert tonight and moves up into the lead.
Yeah, that car is absolutely singing at the moment and putting in the laps perfectly. A little bit further back, there was a change of position for P4 and 5. Ruben Phelps getting up past Andrew Dyson. So again, Ruben Phelps there in that Petty livery inspired car for the RP Motorsport machine, getting a fantastic drive once again, seeing him work his way through the field nicely. Relatively poor qualifying for Ruben. Did not go what he wanted it to. But he's managed to gain 14 positions in the race so far, as usual for him, working his way right up the field. Great drive so far.
Yes, Kate Donnelly as well gets the job done on Dyson. So Dyson's struggling a little bit from the restart here, and Donnelly's moved up now into 5th. Phelps up 14 positions. I didn't even know he got that far up the field, in fact, as well, until you just pointed out there. So great drive from Phelps, as we normally see. Nice and consistent. So Dyson now coming under pressure as well from Christopher Finlay behind him. This group of Simboys cars has jumped onto the back of this pack, so he's under pressure. He didn't take tyres in the last pit stop. Christopher Finlay directly behind him did, however, so Dyson here, you'd see, is probably going to get past as well. It may not be too long before he jumps into pit lane.
Yeah, a couple of those drivers will probably have just taken fuel. There's a few cars out there that came into pit lane as Norman Clark gets sandwiched between Matty Raymond and Jaden Russell just there. 3 wide down the back straight. Jaden Russell getting the better of that one, but Matty Raymond not giving up. He's just side by side with Norman Clark at the moment in the 09. You can see Luke Traher just behind him as well. I got a feeling that Jaden Russell and those guys did take some tyres, whereas a few of the other guys that have stopped a little bit earlier on just took fuel, so it's interesting to see how that's working. But at the moment, the pace is up the top. The tyre wear is not really a big factor tonight, being that it's quite cool out there. And this early stage of the race, it's not affecting them too much. The leaders at the moment are setting the pace. Hamish Gallagher with a 30.6, Ryan Jones with a 30.8. They are flying up the front.
Yeah, good call, Carl. Of course, absolutely right with those cars that pitted on laps 11 and 15. Most of those guys just taking fuel, of course. So, a good call there. And Jaden Russell is probably the one making the most of the fresh set of tyres, albeit, as you say as well, probably either being held up or not quite able to make up the time there. Hamish Gallagher, fastest car on track in clean air.
Yeah, he is looking very pacey at the moment, Hamish. He's always a quick driver. He's always strong. but when he's got some clean air around him and he's on it, he's almost untouchable. So really good job from Hamish at the moment, flying out there. I did just go back and have a check, and yeah, Jaden Russell and Luke Traher did take tyres, so they are on some fresher sets, because I was just questioning myself a little bit just in case. But yeah, it does look like the tyre drop-off isn't too bad tonight, because there is definitely pace up the front. Clean air is key though, and this is the thing, is Jaden Russell at the moment, he's fighting with a lot of cars. As you can see, he gets so close to the back of Gary Wellman there, but when these guys get through this group and get to some clean air,
touch on the bumper.
Dyson getting just a little bit of a kiss from Wellman there. This is going to give Jaden Russell the chance to out-drag Wellman, and you're going to see Jaden Russell just tries to get underneath Dyson. Dyson not allowing it to happen. Wellman right on the outside there. This is some great close racing at the moment. What Jaden Russell's going to have is a little bit more grip on the inside, so he's going to be able to take a lower line at the moment than some of the other guys who are on those slightly more worn tyres. So watch Jaden Russell just fly down the inside there. Andrew Dyson getting absolutely mugged at the moment by Russell and Wellman. Wellman doing a good job to try and keep it on the outside, try and take position, but Dyson is not giving it up just yet. He's trying to hold on, but it's not going to last too long. You can see him, just Troy Davidson right behind him. But watch Jaden Russell now that he's got some clean air. We should see some good lap times from Jaden Russell now.
Yeah, well, he's already opened up a little bit of a gap, hasn't he, here over Gary Wellman as well. We're looking at the back of Troy Davidson's car at Norm Clark and Luke Traher. Of course, Traher getting caught up in this as well. He's on fresh tyres, not quite able to get through at the same pace as Jaden Russell at this point in time. Russell now is, as you can see, the gap is already opening up. He's now chasing down Kay Donnelly. Be interesting to see his lap now that he's got some free air, what the time is on it. I reckon that we're going to see him probably go faster than the leaders on those fresher tyres. He certainly should, even though he's been on them for a few laps now. He hasn't had to burn potentially too much out of them, and as you say, the tyre wear here, not as much of an issue tonight. So immediately he's gone 2/10 faster than Gary Wellman behind him. And is lapping at the same pace as Ryan Jones at the front of this race.
Yeah, he's going to start getting some confidence in that car, getting some pace. Norman Clark there, you can see, just battling with Luke Traher at the moment, side by side at the moment. Norman just down on that inside line, just gets squeezed a little bit low, just touches the apron. That's going to lose him a bit of time. Christopher Finley is going to make the move. Now you're going to see Christopher Finley just get a little bit of a jump on Norman Clark. Norman's going to be sort of squeezed on that inside once again, and that's not where you want to be. You just need that little bit of gap up the top just to get the car breathing a little bit. That was Finley just making a little bit of a mistake opening up. He just went a bit too wide, caught the marbles a little bit and ran up the track, just washed that car up the track, lost a bit of time. That's giving Norman Clark the chance to get back at him. Norman Clark on that low line, he should be able to make this move stick. He's going to try and slot it up in front of Finley, can't quite make it this time round. Clark is wanting to get that slightly higher line, he's going to get it now.
Yeah, and Traher there just in front as well as we go to this wider view. Just putting the pressure on Dyson as well. He almost got underneath him. They're just not quite able to close it out as well. So he's got the same issue as Clark was having. So he's going to try here. You can see how early Dyson's out of the gas there going into turn 3. And he is just struggling a little bit. In fact, I think that might have been turn 4. No, turn 3. So he's just struggling a little bit here. Traher's trying to get down underneath him. I think he might get the job done this time, with Dyson just, I'd say, just rolling out of a little bit there, understanding where his car is probably at in terms of grip, and just trying to hold out for another caution period if he can.
Yeah, he's also just trying to get used to how it feels now with that bit of front end damage. He's got damage to that front right suspension. Meanwhile, up the front, Hamish Gallagher is leading away. He's doing a little bit of wall riding at the moment, just using that little bit of cushion of air that you get up against the wall. He is just sitting there perfectly, letting the car run nice and fast up against that wall. You'll see how close he's getting to the wall. You can see right from that picture, in fact, he is basically scraping Taylor across the wall there, but he is getting some good pace out of it, and that will also just help a little bit. Just he'll be able to relax a little bit. You don't have to work quite as hard, because what they're doing with that kind of move is just using a little bit of the air up against the wall to sort of keep the car off it almost. You can almost relax a little bit. It's a strange thing, because you'd think traveling at almost 300 kilometers an hour next to a safer barrier or a concrete wall would be a very scary thing, but it does just give you a little pocket of air and just lets you sit there for a couple of moments and just have a brief moment of relaxation on your hands.
Yeah, I don't know there'd be too many people who'd understand what you're saying in terms of relaxing, going 300 k's an hour, inches from the wall, but it's absolutely the case. That cushion just acts as the buffer. As we all know, physics is an amazing thing.
It is, and it is an amazing thing to have in iRacing. It was introduced recently that sort of air cushion was brought in properly, and just getting that working in a sim is just... It's pretty amazing, and you got to say that about iRacing in general. Sometimes some of the complex mathematics that it has to do, it's just incredible that it all works.
Yeah, absolutely. I was reading through the release notes for the upcoming update that I'm pretty excited about. It's coming out tonight. I'm gonna stay up and download that and have a bit of fun after the broadcast tonight. But some of the physics updates in terms of sidewall stiffness of tyres against the tread part of the tyre, or the flat surface of the tyre that touches the road, they've now introduced different settings, so there is proper sidewall flex or deflection and impact on the tyre for that as well. So just some amazing updates coming through, and I still credit, albeit it's obviously a terrible thing, COVID, with that, the amount of people that took up iRacing, professionals, etc., that were able to give proper feedback about these cars on how they should feel and how they should react, really enabled iRacing to update the sim really quickly and bring in all this technology. So it's great stuff we get to benefit from.
Yeah, out of disaster comes some good things, at least. You know, it's often the case. In the worst times, some not so bad things happen. There's a great battle on track at the moment. Well, there's more than one great battle out on track. You see Gary Wellman, Luke Traher there, Norman Clark as well, with Andrew Dyson and Matt Hunter getting the run on Norman Clark right there. You can see the Vision Motorsport car down on the Latari Autosport car, the AJ Insurances Services sponsored livery of Norman Clark there, right on the outside of the Vision Motorsport car of Matt Hunter. Norman just has to lift off a little bit as he gets a tiny bit loose, and that's going to give Brenton West the chance to get up there. Too many Brentons in the field.
Yeah, absolutely, Norm. Just getting a little wide. He'll come through there.
Up front, sorry to cut over you there, but Hobson has got a great run on Ryan Jones at the moment. Jones is starting to sort of hemorrhage a little bit of pace right now. He seems to be struggling a little bit with that car. Hobson is absolutely flying at the moment. You can see Hobson just putting the pressure on Jones as it stands. Obviously, they're just getting to that point where the cars are just getting a little bit looser than they were before. They're also getting a lot lighter as well. The longer this race goes on for those cars staying out, the lighter they get as well, because they have not taken on any fuel, and that does change the handling of the vehicle.
We've got Wellman and Russell here as well. There's 3/10 between them. We've got Traher and Davison in front of him. They're battling away. Dyson and Matty Hunter here. There's position potentially going to be exchanged here as well. As we look out, Hunter, they're just losing some grip there, so that's allowed Brenton West to get underneath him. This battle continues, so now it's West and Hunter battling away. This is for positions 11 and 12, so there are really...
Jumping up to second place, we've got Hobson making the move on Jones as Jones runs wide, heads up to the marbles, gets a little bit loose, and this has given Hobson that opportunity.
So these guys definitely going to be praying for a safety car if they can to get through their pit lane strategy. I imagine, though, you'd probably see everyone peel in Jones at this point in time. There you go.
Jones is coming in.
First of our green flag pit stops.
So Jones is going to be praying that there is no cautions now. A caution will absolutely ruin Mr. Jones's race. So he's going to be wanting a nice green one from here. So obviously getting to that point where the car was just getting a little bit too taily for him, just losing that bit of pace, and obviously getting a little bit low on fuel as well, possibly. So he's decided it's time to come in. There's still pace out there, though. Hamish Gallagher is still setting the fastest laps of anyone out there at the front, as I think he might be looking at coming in relatively soon. He's easing off quite a lot through the corners now. So he just had a bit of a moment, I think. Just listening to the car, he's really just letting that car just roll through the corners at the moment, just saving as much fuel as he can, I think, just keeping it going. He's got a fast-charging Hobson behind him, who is trying to close up on him, but as it stands, Hamish Gallagher is the quickest man out there, so he's setting some good pace out there for sure, and doing a great job. This is going to help people like Ruben Phelps, and especially people like Jaden Russell, Gary Wellman, Luke Traher as well. Those guys that stopped, they're going to be able to go a little bit longer, and if a caution comes out, this could absolutely make their race.
Yeah, just noticed that Luke Traher's just snuck up the order a little bit. He's behind Jaden Russell now. Took Luke a little bit longer to get through the traffic than he would have liked, but now up there behind Jaden Russell. These are the front-running cars on the newest rubber, pit on lap 21. So by now that advantage a little bit gone, but of course the cars as well, a little bit more fuel on board, as Carl was just talking about. So they'll be faring a little better than those in front who've done 54 laps on the same set of tyres, albeit with 3 cautions thrown in there as well.
I think what you're going to see here is Luke Traher just get past Jaden without too much issue. Jaden Russell in the 28 and the 43 of Luke Traher. He's going to probably pass him in a few laps. I think maybe we saw Jaden Russell just burn up his tyres a little bit too quickly. Luke Traher playing the longer game there, just not pushing the car quite as quick, quite as fast, as quite as early. And that's given him better pace in the long run, whereas Jaden Russell had really good pace in the short run. So I'm going to see Luke Traher now just try and get in front of Russell and then slowly work his way up the field. I think we might be seeing a couple of more cars coming into pit lane. Michael Shaw coming into pit lane, and I've got to wonder how much longer is Hamish Gallagher and Hobson going to sit out there.
Yeah, absolutely. They can't be too far away. 55 laps. I mean, they're going to start struggling for fuel ahead of anything else if they're not already struggling for grip on tyres. Maybe trying to manage it to lap 60 if they can, assuming that it goes green, gives them a nice segment after that.
Yeah, I think tyres are not... They're obviously a bit of a thing, but they're not that bad. Ryan Jones just setting the fastest lap on those fresh tyres of 30.1, obviously about a second and a half quicker than the leader, but only a second and a half quicker, you know, and that's sort of saying that the tyres are holding on quite well for the leaders. Usually you'd see about 2 second drop off, 3 second drop off, so it's not a huge drop off. Andrew Dyson has come into pit lane as well.
Yeah, we saw Dyson struggling there for a few laps. He's gone through pit lane, got himself a new set of rubber, and he is off and running again in the DPRSimrigs.com, the dark side entry that they run in this series, the all black as opposed to all white car that they normally are known for. Those DPRSimrigs.com liveries pretty well known now, I'd say, around the iRacing setup. Of course, Simracing.com will be celebrating, I reckon, their first birthday shortly. If I'm not too mistaken. They've got a good sale on at the moment as well if you're looking for sim gear in a financial year sale, so we'll give them a good spruik for Daiso here, but he's got a new set of tyres and to be thankful for it too, because he was struggling for quite some time there, just battling away on that old rubber, and saw him drop down through the field a bit. But he's behind Hamish Gallagher here, so he may unlap himself relatively quickly.
Yeah, he should get past relatively soon. He's 2 laps down as well, so he's going to have to go for another circulation to get past Hamish Gallagher again to get on the lead lap. So that shows just how much pace he lost, unfortunately, and that's with the damage as well. So he's been struggling a little bit. That right front, I think the suspension might have just got a little bit of a kicking too. So it's not great for Andrew Dyson tonight, but we've seen drivers come back from much worse. Hamish Gallagher now on his 60th rotation. So he's managing to keep it out there very well. Same with Hobson and Ruben Phelps. These guys have gone for a nice long stint here, and they're going to try and make it as long as possible, I think, and try to get a good long stint here so that they can basically get the smallest amount of fuel put in there, but also just in case that caution does fly, it's going to help them out a lot.
And you called it there. Traher has got past Jaden Russell. He's now piling the pressure on the back of Gary Wellman in the 45 entry, and he is looking to make a move there as well and get that pass done. And once the pit stop's done through, if he can do that, that will put him in the effective race lead. So he'll be looking to get there and be hoping for a caution, I imagine, at some stage to allow him to do that final stop he's going to need. Obviously, from here, they're going to be able to make it to the end of the race with just one more stop if they need to do it.
Yeah, you can see Traher is right over the back of Wellman. He's all over Wellman like a rash at the moment, and he's going to try and put that move on him. As he gets down underneath him, he gets a really good move there and gets the job done.
So Jaden Russell looks to go with him here. I think he's going to get the job done relatively easily. He does, just makes the move underneath, and he'll close that out, even mid-corner. Closes that out against Gary Wellman and moves himself up into 6th position.
Bit of a battle between Ryan Jones and Andrew Dyson at the moment. They might be a lap apart, but they are battling it out side by side on the track. You can see just how close they're taking it, both on fresh tyres and both wanting to prove they've got speed at the moment. This is for Ryan Jones. He's on the lead lap again. He's down in 14th position. Andrew Dyson in 16th position. He's a lap down at the moment, but he's battling to try and get that lap back.
One of the things we love about racing as Kate Donnelly comes in, of course, is that there is no blue flag. They're getting real close there. Juppins just tries to get down on him. Doesn't quite make it and realises he's getting a little too close. Gee, it doesn't get much closer than that, though.
No, Ryan Jones just squeezing Dyson, I think, there a little bit, just putting the pressure on him and just giving him a little bit of a squeeze with that one. Just listening to Hamish Gallagher, he is absolutely just easing that throttle as they are side by side once again, are they?
Yeah, absolutely. This one continues. Neither driver wishing to relent, and Dyson there just moving back in front, so the lead of this pack or battle changes again, and Dyson gets back out in front. Ryan Jones closed the door on him pretty harshly. I'd say he probably slammed it in his face.
The leaders are pitting. Gallagher, Hobson, Phelps all into pit lane. This is going to give Luke Traher the lead of the race. So 65 laps seems to be as long as you can go.
Traher pitting on lap 21. So dare to say he has 21 more laps at least in the Crank Esports entry to go before he's going to need to pit. So he'll obviously the pack has spread a little bit now, and he's going to be hoping that there is going to be a caution period between now and then. Otherwise, he's going to have to jump in on the green flag and make his last stop.
Yeah, he's gained a lot of time back though with staying out. With that pit stop, under caution, it did help bring his race back in. But he's going to want a caution to fly to really help him out here. You can see him just getting past Ruben Phelps just then as well. Ruben just dropping down after that pit stop, of course. Whereabouts has everybody come out, you're asking? So we have got Ryan Jones now in 7th place, Hamish Gallagher down in 8th position, as I think Hamish Gallagher's going to have to come in again. I think he's got caught for doing something naughty in the pit lane.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Old Tay-Tay there won't be happy. She'll be certainly giving him a swift kick to the behind. I think he might have just run a little bit foul of the line there. He's got a stop-go, in fact, by the look of it. Let's just see what happens here.
Yeah, it's
nothing,
yeah,
like so he's got to
stop-go. That is disastrous for Hamish Gallagher. He is, of course, he's going to want to keep out there because he's going to want points because he is the championship leader, but that is an absolute disaster for a very fast car. We've seen Hamish Gallagher putting in some fantastic laps. That's a real shame. He's not out of the race yet, but it's going to be very hard from here. That's dropped Hamish Gallagher right down the order, down into 16th position at the moment. So he has dropped all the way down to the back of that queue. He's going to be praying for a caution to come out to try and help him get back on the lead lap.
Absolutely, as Ruben Phelps unlaps himself from Jaden Russell. He is, of course, on fresh rubber, and he's going to be looking to do the same here on Luke Traher. So they did get the lap done, as you'd expect, when Phelpsy was in pit lane. And he's going to unlap himself here. They won't bother Traher too much at the moment. Of course, those tyres will die off, and the lap differential, as we spoke about, not that great once the tyres wear down that little bit. In fact, only around about a second between new and old tyres. So Trahera will be quite happy here, just managing his race. They're going to get the advantage of that 1 or so second lap advantage towards the end when they do have to make their final pit stop. But he won't be thinking about that at the moment. Jaden Russell getting a little bit pacey, closing up on the back of him as well. So a little bit to manage here for Trahera.
Yeah, Gary Wellman doing well in third position at the moment as well. He's just keeping that Sim Boys car really well placed at the moment. He is going to be looking at coming into pit lane relatively shortly, I would say. So we'll probably see Gary Wellman making his rotation through pit lane in the next lap or two. So he should be coming in, I'd say, about now. So Gary Wellman coming in on this lap. So lap 56 for him. So that was as much as he's done. Christopher Finley is doing a mega job out there. He's currently on 60 laps of a run, so he has been fuel saving like a beast at the moment to get that car around and keep it out there. Of course, he did come in for a quick splash early on in the race just to get a little bit of extra fuel on board, so he should be able to go a little bit longer, but only by a lap or two. We hear that glorious V8 engine singing out a fantastic sound on these cars, of course. Hamish Gallagher putting in a charge at the moment and flying up the field. So Hamish Gallagher doing a good job of hopefully getting his head down and now just trying to get the pace back in that car. He's going to want to just try and get his way back up there. He's got Tristan Koch in front of him, so he's going to want to try and work his way back up this race. Of course, we know he's got the pace, but he's got to now do the hard thing, and that's overtaking people, and that's sometimes much harder than it seems, because when you're equally paced, all of a sudden things can get very tricky at the top of the field, and passing people, it's easier said than done, as we see Christopher Finley just in pit lane there, just getting the last of his fuel on board, getting those fresh tyres, and he'll be jumping out back on board with Jaden Russell, leader of this race, overtaking Luke Trahera.
Yeah, absolutely. So switch for the lead there, Trahera and Russell. So as Russell gets real wide there, just drags the right-hand rear down one of these beautifully star-crested walls here at Texas, so he's just getting a little loose, but you know what, he will keep pressing on it there as he gets past Kate Donnelly. So it is Russell, Trahera and West as our top three. Ryan Jones making progress as well. You might remember he was leading this race, pitted on lap 50, so he's on the first of our cars that has done the later pit stops, so he pitted on 50. And he is trying to chase down Brenton West. Gap there, around 3 seconds between them. And then it is Hobbo and Ruben Phelps who are on about 13 seconds differential between Jones and themselves. So first of our freshest tyre runners. So they have got a little bit of work to do here. Just going past the 550 there of Tristan Koch as well. So trying to make their way back up through this pack.
Gotta say, it's looking sweet for Ryan Jones at the moment, sitting there in P4. He's got some good pace underneath him. He's got fuel, he's got tyres, he's got everything he needs to have at the moment. He's just running his own race. He's just got to run the pace as well, just not push the car too hard, not worry about cars getting past him, because there's going to be cars on some slightly fresher tyres out there now than him. So he's going to be losing a couple of positions here and there, a couple of positions on track, but not for actual position, just losing those places, so to say. But he's not going to worry about that. He's just got to worry about his own race. But telling Ryan Jones to focus on his race and not go as fast as possible is like telling a dog not to eat that lovely treat in front of it while turning your back and walking away from it. It's not very likely going to happen.
Trying to tell a greyhound not to chase the hare.
Very much so, yeah. Look, Ryan Jones, he loves going fast, and he is very good at it indeed.
Brenton West, I know we spoke about him before, but doing a ripper job here. Of course, he got tied up a little bit in somebody else's event during the race. Got damage to that right-hand front corner of the Tom Supra entry, but he's now ducking down into pit lane. This is an interesting one. So pit on lap 21.79. Now he's deciding that he's going to jump into the lane get some new boots, and fuel that Castrol entry up to the end of the race.
Yeah, he's going to want to get that car with some extra... Just get it very much towards the end of the race. He's going to have some nice fresh boots on that car as well for the end, which should give him a little bit of a pace coming towards there, which could help him out in towards the latter stages of this race. We've got 40 laps remaining. Jaden Russell coming into pit lane now as well as Luke Trahere. So those guys have decided to peel in, and this is going to give Ryan Jones the lead of the race.
Absolutely. So the question here is, where are they going to pop out? And are they going to be, or how far down a lap and a bit are they going to be when they pop back out? Just see Ryan Jones is about halfway around. Yeah, so it's not going to be too bad.
Because they were only about 8 seconds ahead of Ryan Jones, so they're going to, I'd say they'd lose a lap here, just about. As Ryan Jones is coming across the start-finish line as they just pull out pit lane. Ryan Jones just passing them now, as you can see on screen. So that is lap down, but they're going to soon get that lap back. So that's the thing, is they're going to be on fresher tyres. They're going to have some pace to burn, so they're going to be able to pass Ryan Jones without too much issue. They'll catch up to him relatively quickly after about 10 laps, I'd say. They'll catch up to Ryan Jones and pass him. But at the moment, Ryan Jones has got a 10-second lead over Brenton Hobson in second. The battle for second is heating up, though, as Ruben Phelps is right on the back of Hobson. Very close there for Noddy Tompkins. That was a new race suit moment, I think, for the the 54 of Brenton Hobson.
Yeah, so weather might just be affecting the stream a little bit there, so sorry if it's got a little bit jumpy. Just noticed that dropping a couple of frames. It's very, very windy down here in Melbourne, and just obviously affecting things a little bit there, so do bear with us. We'll keep on pressing on with this one. Looks like it's fixed itself there, but Hobson and Phelps battling for second position here. Hobson looking to try and make it back-to-back wins. He's got a 10-second chase to perform on Ryan Jones, and at the moment Hobson Phelps really putting the pressure on him. Brenton West has joined back into this battle. He's a lap down. Matty Hunter just behind him as well, so plenty of cars coming through here as well to get tied up in this battle. And in fact, as we speak, it is West who's going to make the move underneath Matty Hunter, underneath Ruben Phelps there, my apologies, and he's got a good run here on Brenton Hobson too, so he's looking to unlap himself. He should get it done relatively quickly, and then we won't be too long before we see Hunter and Gallagher joining into this battle as well, I think.
Yeah, you can see just behind him, Gallagher is chasing down Matty Hunter for position. He's chasing down Brenton West as well, but Brenton West, you can see is just running away at the moment on those fresher tyres to Hamish Gallagher, so he should have the ability to just sneak away from Hamish Gallagher, although saying that Hamish Gallagher is still quite quick out there, so don't discount him yet. The big question is for Ryan Jones, because he came in a bit early. He's going to need to make another stop, I think, on my calculations. So he can't make it to the end on this stint. He's going to need a caution to get him to the end of this race.
Yeah, you're spot on, Carl. Lap 50, the lap that Ryan Jones jumped into pit lane. He probably would have been counting on another caution given the volume we had just in that short window there, where we had sort of 3 or 4 in a row. So Ryan Jones there will be looking to get that done. Luke Trahere, who's going to blast past him down the outside and get himself unlapped. He'll be looking to take advantage, but everyone else between him and Ryan Jones, between Ryan Jones and Luke Trahere have done a pit stop that will see them through to the end. Jaden Russell, the last of those, along with Luke Trahere on lap 80. So they're on the freshest tyres, but Hobbo and Phelps will make it through to the end here if it stays green.
Ryan manages to save some fuel, he might be in with a shot, because he is hemorrhaging a bit of time here. He's losing time to Hobson and Phelps behind him, who are on they are fresh tyres by about good 12, 13 laps, so they are on much fresher tyres. But Ryan Jones, I think he's just starting to fuel save a bit here. He's just lifting and coasting a little bit through the corners to try and make it to the end maybe. He's going to be very close on fuel. I don't think he can make it, but I have been proven wrong in the past. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's going to need one more stop because we saw about 60 laps was about the maximum anyone managed on a single tank. But if he fuel saves like a beast, he might be able to just scrape through. But I don't think he's going to be leading the race if it comes to that. I think we're going to see Hobson and Phelps get past him with their current pace.
Yeah, I was going to say that gap's already dropped down now, 7.2 seconds between Jones and Hobson, and Phelps is still right on his back bumper as well, and then there's a huge gap. So you're right, Jones has got the potential here. Look, he may not finish on the podium at all if he pits and it stays green to the end. In fact, he probably wouldn't because the differential in the tyres just not great enough here. He's got a 21-second lead at the moment over Troy Davison in fourth. So even if he does hemorrhage a little bit of time here and saves that, he's unlikely to drop out of the top three. So we'll see what strategy he plays here as Hobson again eats away about half a second off this gap. Currently 6.8 seconds behind Ryan Jones at the moment in second place, carrying Ruben Phelps on his back bumper.
And right behind Ruben Phelps at the moment is the former leader of the race, Hamish Gallagher. He's currently chasing down Matty Hunter, so he's trying to get that position. He's going to try and work his way. Hamish Gallagher, I think, will be happy if he gets a top 10 tonight at least with that drive-through stop-go penalty. So if he can get a top 10 tonight, I think he's going to be pretty happy with that. He's currently in 13th position, so he's got a few spots to make up here, but it is within possibility that he can make those positions and get up into the top 10. I think if he can do that tonight, he'll feel pretty happy. Well, as happy as you can when you've been leading a race and you get a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. To get a drive-through, particularly in oval racing, is basically night over unless there's a race that's got a lot of caution periods in it. It's obviously cost him a full transition through the pit lane and that stationary time as well. His last pit lane transit time was 45 seconds, so it's effectively another pit stop that he has to perform ahead of everyone else. So a good result to get back up inside the top 10. And at the moment, he's on the same lap as everyone in front of him up to position 9. So he should be able to do it.
Yeah, he's going to be catching, well, as you can see, he's catching and passing Matt Hunter right now. Down on the inside, you see Hamish Gallagher there making the move, and he's going to get that position. He's just sitting behind Brenton Hobson now, and he's just going to sort of sit behind Hughes. Hobson is a bit of a blocker at the moment. Hobson a lap ahead of him, of course. But if Hobson starts holding him up, you're going to see Gallagher want to get past relatively quickly because he's going to want to make up that position as fast as humanly possible. A bit of a shout out for Andrew Dyson as well. He's doing pretty well out there. He's got Brenton West just about to overtake him. So those two battling for 10th and 11th position at the moment. But Andrew Dyson's managed to get back on the lead lap, importantly for him. So he's back on the lead lap. Again, he's one of those drivers that's looking a little bit touch and go to the end of the race. He should just about be able to make it as Ryan Jones pits for the final time tonight. He hopes he's coming to pit lane for his service and a bit more fuel in the tank.
Yeah, so he'll get that done, and it gives Brenton Hobson, Ruben Phelps the lead of this race. I think Troy Davison as well will make his way past, as well as perhaps Gary Wellman, Jaden Russell, and Luke Trahere. So, but Jones,
we'll see Ryan Jones actually come out behind Hamish Gallagher, I reckon. So he's going to drop down to about 12th or 13th position, I'd say.
Obviously on much fresher tyres though, so he's going to be able to put some pressure on, and Andrew Dyson jumps out of pit lane as well. He's dropped down a couple of spots, and you are spot on there. Jones jumping out right behind Hamish Gallagher, so he's just down on the infield there. In fact, he's dropped a couple of... no, he's behind Hunter, so a position from which he can certainly make up some extra positions. I don't think he'll stay there for too long.
No, So he's gonna be gaining those positions pretty quickly. Up towards P7 and 8, we've got a good battle developing between Matty Raymond. Mr. Sheen is keeping it very clean. He's got Norman Clark on the inside. Norman Clark is doing a great job tonight of keeping the pressure on, and Brenton West is in that battle as well. Brenton West on very fresh tyres indeed, so he's going to be looking to try and make the move. You can see him just putting the pressure on Norman Clark right now. He's got Matty Raymond in front of him as well, so this battle is really heating up for 7, 8 and 9th at the moment, but don't expect Norman Clark to make it easy for him. Very, very experienced head on those shoulders of Norman Clark, a very good driver and one that is never easy to pass.
No, it's Gary Wellman also starting to get into a little bit of a sandwich. Troy Davison and Jaden Russell around him. And Jaden Russell, Luke Trahere here still making up pace. We've got 22 to go. You can see that Russell's just down to the bottom of the picture. Oh, wow, as Wellman gets wide. Runs into the wall, and that's let Jaden Russell through. You would have had a little bit of a scare there, trying to make sure that he didn't end up collecting Wellman on the way through. Allowed Trahere to close up on the back, and Jaden Russell moves up into the top 4 on the freshest set of tyres out of anyone in the top 4.
Hamish Gallagher briefly in the top 10. He's got Ryan Jones passing him for position now. So Ryan Jones back into the top 10 in the field. So he's managed to get back up there into the top 10 positions. He is going to be trying now to chase down as many people as possible. Next on his hit list is Norman Clark. So he's got about 5 seconds, about 4 or 5 seconds to gain on Norman Clark. So I imagine he'll be catching him relatively shortly. Meanwhile, Brenton Hobson is in the lead of the race. He's got about a second and a half over Ruben Phelps at the moment. And then it's a little bit further back for Troy Davidson, who has got Jaden Russell all over the back of him at the moment. Jaden Russell starting to apply the pressure to the Simboys car of Davidson. So it's a good battle here for the final step of the podium. Of course, we don't have podiums in NASCAR, but we still like to call it that. Davidson doing a good job of defending that position at the moment. He has got a very fast charging Russell behind him, and then Luke Trahere to come as well. Both of them are on much fresher tyres, so they should have the advantage. They should be able to hold a slightly tighter line than Davidson as well. So this shouldn't be too much of a hard pass for them, but Davidson is not going to make this easy. He's going to try his best to keep them behind him, but for how long, that's going to be the question.
And then we've got 14 laps until we've got 14 seconds, I should say, between Davison and Phelps, so there's every chance that they may catch up here, so we'll keep an eye on this battle as we are. We've got Russell Trahare's right behind him, looking to go with him as well, so as you said, Davison will probably drop 2 here. And it's then down to Russell and Trahere as to whether or not they want to make a contest out of this with 17 to go.
Ryan Jones up past Matty Raymond now and Brenton West. He managed to get past Norman Clark, Matty Raymond and Brenton West in the span of a corner. So that's 3 positions in 2 corners for Ryan Jones. And he is on a charge now to try and get that car back up into a good finishing position for himself. It's going to be hard to catch the leaders, I'd say. 16 laps to go. He's going to need a caution to do it, but he's going to try and get the best finish he can possibly get. Jaden Russell, meanwhile, has got past Troy Davidson. You can see Luke Trahere has also done that. Luke Trahere is now putting the pressure on Russell.
Yeah, they're actually lapping at the same pace as Hobson and Phelps in front of them, so keep an eye on that, whether that's just because of the fact that there was some traffic as Trahere just gets the nose just onto or underneath the back bumper of Jaden Russell. Not quite able to get the job done there. They want to run together, these two, if they're going to use the advantage that they can get to try and catch up to Ruben Phelps. And they're going to need to do it because you've got 15 to go here. They've got 15-second margin to make up. So it's going to be right at the end of the race if they're going to get it done. But they've got plenty of work to do between now and then, now that they've cleared out those cars on older tyres before them. And Ryan Jones, of course, is coming through as well. Straher tries to go round the outside, and gets it done on Russell. So he'll probably just be a little switch here again, as Russell keeps that title line on the apron. But Straher will be trying to get a good exit out of the corner here. Does just that, but Russell's defending. He said, I don't want to let you through, Luke. It's not yours to have yet, mate. And I'll tell you what, Troy Davison sniffing a little bit of blood here as well. Thinks he might be able to get a position back as the 43 and the 28 entry battle away. Traher switches down to the low line. He's got a good run on the 28 of Jaden Russell. He's going to be able to close him out, I think, here and get the job done. He does all as they get real close as their hair between them as they both enter that low line. And Troy Davison closed back up on the back of this battle here temporarily. So this is very, very hot to trot. 28 not looking like he wants to take it lying down on the Crank Esports entry of Luke Traher. And this is for third position with 13 to go.
And when we look to the wide shot, you're going to see a fast-charging Ryan Jones. This battle between Russell and Traher has helped Ryan Jones immensely because he is managing to catch up to this. You'll see a speck in the rear of the camera. We've got 12 laps to go. He is catching them at a vast rate of knots, but his tyres will start to fall off a little bit. He's only a couple of seconds behind, though. So Ryan Jones is catching up to the front right now. He is really putting the pace on that car. He has got a possibility to get up in a top 3 still after that second stop, so he'll be the top of the 2 stoppers, and he did it the hard way, pitting under green.
Yeah, most certainly he did. Just can't quite get the shot on there to show what you were demonstrating, but the gap here, 1.5 seconds onto the back of Troy Davison's car. 550 here of Tristan Cock is quick. He has pitted on lap 99, so much fresher tyres than Ryan Jones in front of him, so just looking to get himself unlapped. As you can see now, Luke Traher obviously felt he's being held up there. Jaden Russell, a gap between them, open up to half a second.
Jaden Russell into the wall. Jaden Russell's just made contact with the wall. Bit of a scrape, and that's dropped him right back to Troy Davidson. That's going to drop them off the pace. This is going to be the shot Ryan Jones wants. You can see very shortly, you can see just in that shot, that nose of Ryan Jones, it is creeping up there. Tristan Cock right behind Jones at the moment. He's wanting to get past because he's got his own race to run. So you can see Jones just catching up to Davidson now. Jones is going to make short work of Davidson, I would say. As he stands, he's going to try for that inside line. Davidson's going to possibly try and hold it there. No, he's just going to ease off with that one. Probably the smarter move because you're going to lose more time battling with those cars than you're going to gain. You can see Tristan Cock there just going right underneath Ryan Jones. He's going to try and get the slingshot now. Get up in front of Jones here if he can to get that lap back. And this is not what Jones needs to have happen at the moment. He wants to just keep ahead of Cock and just keep going for this fight. The more he battles, the harder it is going to be for him to catch up to somebody like Luke Traher. But you can see he's caught up to Russell already. Russell is just going to hold that inside line. He's just going to block Ryan Jones off a little bit. This could be the chance for Tristan to get up and past Ryan Jones right now. What would be a smart move, I'd say, for Jones is let Cock get past because he's going to start battling it out with the cars ahead of him and they're going to lose a little bit of time. So you can see Ryan Jones has just let Cock get up and through. This is going to put Jaden Russell off the line, so Ryan Jones can now try and get a slingshot here to try and get up and over the top of Jaden Russell. Will he make it work? Not quite this time.
It's got close. It's a good strategy call there as well. The 550 of Cox is off in the distance. Obviously, he'll try and catch Luke Traher. That may slow him down a little bit, and as you say, give Ryan Jones that chance just to make that move a little bit further back while you're going through that. I've kept my eye on this battle here between Clark Gallagher and Raymond. This is for positions 9 through 11, so fighting out for a top 10 here. And you've got the 54 of Brenton Hobson there going through and lapping these cars. Hamish Gallagher.
Jones is making the move. Sorry, Jones is again side by side. He'd almost made the move there. Sorry to jump over his shirt, but it didn't work out. Once more, Jones is just unable to get past Russell at the moment. Russell just holding that inside line. Jones looking better this time around, though. He's getting a good run off the corner. He's going to be up high once more. Just needs to get a little bit of power down and just slide in front of Jaden Russell, which he's going to do this time round. Ryan Jones up into P4.
Got the job done there. Good move from Jones. He's now got to chase down Traher. 6 to go. 1.2 seconds the difference. About 0.2 quicker on the last lap around. Just touching the apron there. He's got to be careful that he doesn't end up doing anything here. I reckon he's got the pace to catch Traher, maybe take out that third place. So we'll see how we go. You can see Traher there at the top of the screen. Just they enter the corner. He's just up there off the edge of the screen. So there's a gap of around about 1.5 seconds between the two as we have 5 laps to go here at Texas. And this one's going to finish nice and close.
The laps are counting down. As you said, that battle between Clark and Gallagher at the moment is very good as well. You can see Norman Clark just defending Hamish Gallagher. Gallagher has worked his way back into the top 10. I said a little bit before he's going to want to try and get a top 10 finish, and he's going to possibly manage it here tonight. He is absolutely flying out there, Hamish Gallagher. He's really, you can tell he's probably a little bit annoyed about what happened, and probably annoyed with himself as well, but he's going to try and get the best out of his situation that he can.
Got a race leader right behind them there, Brenton Hobson. So we've got 3 to go here. Hobson's just in a holding pattern, really. He doesn't need to do a lot about this in front of him. He's got a gap of around about 5 seconds over Ruben Phelps. So he just needs to maintain things here. He's got Gallagher in front of him and Clark, who are both very capable drivers. So don't be too worried about anything happening in front of him, and just be able to run this one out with Ruben Phelps not able to do too much damage on the lap times. In fact, last time around about half a second slower than Brenton Hobson. So he could be in for the daily double here, go back-to-back wins in the Xfinity Series, and the man to win multiple races so far this season is in fact the 13 of Hamish Gallagher. So he's going to join good company and make some good progress in the championship as well, if he can hold this one out.
They're going underneath Gary Wellman at the moment. Norman Clark and Hamish Gallagher getting that position. That's going to work him up into P8 and P9. Hamish Gallagher is within the top 10 now, and he's still trying to get the best of Norman Clark at the moment. They've got Brenton West in front of them as well. There is only half a lap to go, though, as Brenton Hobson is going to lead them home. He's on the final lap now, and he is looking to do it tonight, but there is a very big battle in front of them. Those guys just wanted to just sit back a little bit so they get an extra lap of racing. You can see Hamish Gallagher getting that position, but Brenton Hobson is going to come across the line and take the victory at Texas.
Great job there from Hobbo. It's going to be Phelps who takes second place, and it looks like Trahair is going to take out the top 3 finish there, so good result for Luke Trahair there. Bit of a return to form for him. He's had some tough races over the last few weeks. But what we are going to do is jump back here and have a look at this battle that's going to be between... Oh, Norman Clark there just backed off.
Yeah, they just made a little bit of contact mid-corner, and Norman just easing off a little bit just so there wasn't a spin. So Hamish Gallagher just got a little bit loose in the corner, and Norman just made contact with the back of him, and that ended that battle, giving Hamish Gallagher up into the top 8. They couldn't quite catch Brendan West at the end, but the man of the moment is Hobbo. Brenton Hobson taking out his second ANZCAR win in the Xfinity Series, the Thunder Series. Brenton Hobson in P1. Second place for Ruben Phelps tonight, the biggest gainer on the field, with 16 positions gained for Ruben Phelps. Another great drive from Mr. Phelps. And Luke Trahair having a brilliant recovery, getting up into third in the end. We saw that contact made, that cost him a bit of time. Had to come through pit line a couple of times, but getting up into third position in the end.
Absolutely, and in fact, I think that is the, I might be wrong here, second consecutive top 3 finish for Ruben Phelps as well. So he is starting to get into some form. Once he gets his qualifying sorted out, he's going to be very, very strong in this series. He's nice and consistent, so a good run there. But taking nothing away from Hobbo, he had a fantastic race. 10 seconds to the good at the end of it. In fact, nearly 11 seconds to the good at the end of it, to take the win out here at Texas. So congratulations, Hobbo, on 2 from 2. 2 starts in the Xfinity Series, 2 wins.
Yeah, what a great job from Hobbo. He is just absolutely flying at the moment. Brendan Hobson, one of those names that we said, you know, we've heard a lot about him from some other series. So he's had, this is his third start in the series, so he's had quite a few good results. I think he managed a top 5 in one of the previous races as well. I think he was Dakota. I think he was up in the second place, I think, at the end of that race. So, again, just proving that he has got the speed tonight. But we'll grab up the top 3 finishers, and we'll start with our third place finisher. Welcome back to the booth, Mr. Luke Trahair. Welcome back to the booth, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. It's good to talk to you, brother. Yeah, I like Texas. It's a good track. It's good fun. I'll take a P3 after some early incidents. So, right on to the top guys on Hobbo and right on Phelpsy on the P1 and 2.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that one, Luke. Obviously, we saw that little bit of contact between yourself and Dyson there. That seemed to cost quite a bit, and you sort of had to come through pit lane and get some repairs and things like that done. How much did that affect your race with the damage on the car?
It wasn't too bad. I think like there was a sort of parts of the race I was noticing that a little bit of the top end wasn't quite there, but not enough for it to be severe. I could still sort of keep up with a couple of the guys. So once I got the repairs done, would have liked us a little bit more, but it wouldn't have made any difference where I came. I wasn't going to catch those top guys anyway. So, at the end of the day, it worked out pretty well. Happy to get a P3.
It's good to have you back in the booth as well. It's been a little bit of time since we last talked to you. It doesn't seem too long, but it's been a bit of time. It's been sort of from the highs of the beginning of the season. It's been a little bit less spectacular. I won't say that spectacular, but you've not been having the finishes you probably would have wanted recently.
Yeah, you could say that. I think I'm still finding my feet, amongst the kind of the cup car guys and that sort of thing. And that sort of plotting on okay. I was hoping to do a bit better on the trucks this season after getting second in the championship last season. It's just not sort of panning out, just a few things here and there, but it's okay because I enjoy just turning up and running with the boys and everything. So the results are bonuses, man. I enjoy competing with the guys, win, lose, draw, last place, whatever. It's just good to come out and turn out with those guys, and it's a good way to fill in the night. So I'm happy.
We're always happy to have you out on the field because you always give us some good things to watch. Thank you so much, Luke. And before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to your sponsors.
I do. I got to quit. Is Hobbo in here?
He is. He's lurking up there somewhere.
Yeah. Apparently, did you used to go to school in Kangaroo Flat?
Yeah, we probably went to school together.
I was talking to Scotty Graham at work the other day, and he's like, he was asking me about iracing, and he was like, he's like, you remember Hobbo from school? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, he's here below us. Like, he's all into the iracing and shit. That's how I saw you. But I don't remember you, but I went to K Flat. So how you doing, man?
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, I know Scotty Graham. So
yeah, sure, cool. No, good. Very quickly then, just so you guys can move on. Obviously, iRace Designs for the sweet paints. They do a damn good job, so look those guys up. Virtual Motorsport Mentor for Chris, of course, with the coaching. Again, I always say it. That's why I get the results that I do when I get good results. And love and thanks to my team. Thanks to Mirko for hanging around with me and chilling, even though he had the early blowout there. He was keeping me company through the race. So, and the other guys that didn't race tonight, shout out to those boys. Love racing with you.
No worries, thanks, Luke. And not doing the old Australian reputation too much help there, but everybody thinks that everybody knows everybody in Australia, and you're just proving it right.
Yeah, through those 3 degrees of separation, whatever it is, mate, or 6 degrees, I don't know what it is, but something like that.
So the motorsport community, we are small and we know everybody. Now, congratulations on that finish, mate. Well done on P3, and we'll hope to have you back in the booth soon.
Thanks, Cal.
Next up, we will jump up to second place, man. Ruben Phelps, third last time out, second this time out, Ruben. So, P1 next race?
I hope so, but I don't want to break any of the school reunions going on at the moment.
So, whereabouts did you go to school, Ruben? Just no, congratulations on that P2, mate. A great finish for you. As I said, last time out, saw you up in third position. This time, second position. Let's hope next time we can see you a step higher.
Yeah, I can hope so, but, freaking, you can't beat anyone. Brenton was half-assed, but Hamish there, man, I don't know what he got up to, speeding penalty or something that he was blowing for the win, and then again 2 weeks in a row now he was leading and screwed his race up, so it's helping me get the podiums because I think respectively I was about fourth in that race, and then I think was it Ryan decided to do the early pit strategy, which that's 2 weeks in a row as well. I don't understand that strategy, and so it's all just falling in my way, but now I just want to go one position higher.
We need to get that first win under your belt. We want to see that one come very soon, of course. We don't want to put the curse on you, but we've been seeing some great racing from you, and again, a really good, strong race. Again, a lot of positions gained, starting down in 18th position, up to second at the end.
Yeah, because again, I tried to do the qualifying and I just got loose and I had to start the back. So I just worked my way past all the crashes and got up to, was it sixth on the third or fourth restart, and of course that just got me all the track position and just cruised for the rest of the race, and everybody just fell off the radar.
Yeah, and speaking about that, it's looking good for you championship-wise at the moment. You're currently, when coming into this race, you're sitting in joint second place with Dave Douglas, and obviously Hamish Gallagher has had some unfortunate moments. I think we saw him cop a speeding penalty. He had to have a drive-through and a stop-go penalty, unfortunately, and that cost him a lot in this race. But you were 20 points behind coming into this race. You're going to be a lot closer to the top now. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm really shocked because, again, this is the worst car I've ever driven and I can't drive these Xfinity cars, and suddenly it's like just getting the results for some reason. So obviously I figured out something, but you always underestimate what I can do. So it's more of a driver's race car, this one, so must show something.
Obviously, you don't like the car, but the car seems to really like you and is showing in your results this season.
Yeah, it's very strange, but anyway, I'll take all the results I can get.
Congratulations, Ruben. As usual, shout out and love to sponsors.
To my own team, RP Motorsports. You can follow on Facebook. Of course, I do my own paints, so of course we all know the Hot Wheels cars. Mum will have been watching, so shout out to Mum, so hello. And you guys for the broadcast, FGM eCast, and yeah, that's about it. And thank Matt Hunter for running the ANZCAR XFINITY series.
All right, thank you so much, Ruben. Catch you next time. Hopefully catch you in the booth next time, one step higher.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, and finally jumping up to the winner of the race, becoming a little bit of a habit for this man, Brenton Hobson. Congratulations on the second win for the second week running in the Thunder Series.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you'd call it a habit yet with two get luckies, but maybe we could make it one. That'd be nice.
Well, it's certainly going well for you at the moment, you've got to say. I mean, 3 races? You've not been out of the top 3 for all of them. So you're doing something right.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just sort of shadowing Hamish and Josh, really. Hanging out with those guys during the race, and they're my markers. So I'm just sort of trying to tag onto the back of them, and I've been a bit fortuitous. They've run into some trouble across the last couple of weeks. Josh is having all sorts with his internet, and Hamish has just had a couple of little mistakes in the race that have cost him. So, I mean, I don't know that I would have been able to go with Hamish tonight. He was pretty quick in that first run, and I sort of stuck with him but I don't know if we would have had anything for him in the full race. Maybe we could have made it a race at the end, just maybe, but I think he probably would have got the wood on me tonight. So I'm just happy to be there. I'm happy to be in position, but so far we've been pretty lucky. But I mean, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Well, as is often the case in motorsport, luck can be much more fortuitous than just being a great driver. But you seem to have both at your hands. Obviously, starting the race from first and finishing first, that says a lot about your drive tonight. Obviously, Hamish did have some really good pace out there, and it's a shame that he went out, and also for Micklemore as well. Unfortunately, again, some kind of internet gremlin attacking him. But you're coming in here with strong pace, and again, selling yourself short with a very strong drive.
Yeah, thank you. I just I need to probably get myself a bit more organised. The start time's borderline for me for getting in with much time to practice. So I'm only getting a handful of laps before qualifying. And 2 weeks in a row, I haven't felt like I've had a handle on the car at all when the green flag drops on qualifying and I've pulled a good lap out. So we can't rely on that ongoing. We've been lucky twice there as well, and that's not going to last. So I'm going to have to start looking at maybe trying to get in a couple of laps during the week or something to get up to speed. But I mean, that's part of the challenge, I think. I mean, if I end up back in the mid-pack or starting deep, I don't think I would have been able to do what Ruben did tonight and drive all the way through from the back to the front. It's a whole different game. You use your stuff up, you put yourself in dangerous positions, and being able to do that is not an easy thing to do. So starting at the front's key, and we've done it a couple of weeks in a row, and it's just left us in a position to be able to contend when the cards fell our way, and that's half the battle, I think. So we've just put ourselves in position. If Ruben says that he doesn't like the cars, if he figures it out, then look out, because I think we'll all be in trouble.
Yeah, very much so. It's that very fast drivers, and look, it is that thing of it's a very different thing leading from start to finish than battling your way through the pack, as you said, and it's sometimes easy to be a bit fast and sort of have it go your way. Obviously, cautions felt pretty in line for you tonight. A late caution, I imagine you would have been dreading.
Absolutely, yeah. Once Ryan pitted out early and I knew he couldn't make it on fuel without another stop, I was pretty happy. I was content to just go with that. My teammate Jaden pitted under one of those safety, or the last safety car, I think it was, because he had a little bit of damage, and he was hoping it might have fixed it, and maybe that strategy could have played out pretty well if it stayed green, but he had damage on the car. So unfortunately for him, he just didn't have the lap speed required to get back up there. But as we got closer to the end, the idea of a caution I was dreading. I rolled up on the back of Hamish, chasing down a few guys for position with a few laps to go, and I'm thinking, oh my God, if these guys wreck and there's a caution, I'll be killing him. But no, it didn't happen, and again, a lot of good luck. I think if the caution that came out, it would have been anyone's that was on the lead lap, a chance for anyone. I wouldn't have been very comfortable with trying to press on at 100%. The whole night I was just looking after tyres and driving very much under the limit to try and keep the tyres under me. So it's fairly comfortable like that. But if I have to start pushing at 100% for a 5 or 10 laps dash at the end or something, I have no idea what would be like for pace. So it was lucky tonight. We'll see what happens next time. And let's just try and keep the win rolling.
Well, look, that's it. And that's why we have the Thunder Series and the XFINITY cars out there, is to get some people newer to oval racing and not quite as used to it, getting comfortable and hopefully working your way up through the series. And you certainly seem to be getting comfortable a little bit now, and you just need to start getting down the pack a little bit, getting your elbows out and getting some rubbing on the racing as well. But congratulations on that second victory, Brenton. As usual, shout out and love to the sponsors.
Firstly to my team, Synergy Simracing, and to Jay Russ, who jumped in again tonight for a spin. He looked promising at the start for pace, but just got a bit unlucky again. Sponsors on the car, DGD Customs, Aftershock PC, Smith & Sons, Newlon, Dofoto, DM Syntography, and JK Signs. But also a quick shout out, obviously, like last week, to you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's always good to have a broadcast running for the series, and also to the series itself, ANZCAR. It's turning out to be a lot of fun. I'm glad that I've jumped in here to have a go.
We're really glad you're enjoying it, and we're really glad to have you here. As we say, new drivers coming in and giving some of the other boys a bit of a run is what we love to see, because it picks everybody's game up. The faster you go out there, the faster everybody else gets as well. It's always good to see. Congratulations on that second victory, and hopefully we'll have you back again soon.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Well, Stuart, we saw a brilliant green stint there towards the end of the race. A few cautions at the beginning. We were expecting a few, though, but I think that went very well towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. We managed to avoid the weather gremlins, as well as sitting here in a room, and basically there's some sort of paranormal activity happening with the windows shaking and the lights flickering on and off. But we managed to make it through the broadcast, as well as weather events hit Australia. But a fantastic result there for Hobbo. 2 from 2 in the XFINITY series, running back-to-back. So, Hamish has got his work cut out for him in the coming weeks. He's going to have to get on there. Good to see Luke get back onto the podium, and another strong result for Ruben with a drive through the field. We love that kind of action that happens between himself and, of course, Matty Ray did it earlier in the week as well. So another strong result here. And just did want to do a call out as well, Matty Hunter, for obviously organising the series here. As well, the guys do a lot of work behind the scenes. People don't understand how much it takes to put on these series, and there's a lot involved. So another big shout out to the boys from ANZCAR who allow us to put all this together for them.
Yeah, very much so. Big shout out to all of the admins. You guys do a great job and keep the ANZCAR ball rolling. A big shout out and thank you, of course, to AJ Insurance Services as well for sponsoring the FGM eCast and the stream, keeping everything running. And of course, a even bigger shout out to all of you for watching. You guys keep us going week in, week out. It always helps having a few viewers on board. And if you can hit the like button, subscribe button, and share us around, show us to your friends, it always helps. I gotta say, we just gotta hope that Luke and Brenton don't have any more classmates joining the series, or we might be in for some trouble, Stuart.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to connect people back here on FGM Ecast. It's not one of the things we are known for, but always good to add that in. Tomorrow night, of course, we do have our charity stream coming up. And Carl, we've been looking forward to this one. It's been in the works for a while. I know there's a couple of special things that Ed Foster's got planned for tomorrow night as well, so make sure you tune in to see those. And we've got a good field of cars coming up for that one.
Yeah, really excited for that one. Of course, Probably to the Dream. We will be running that tomorrow, of course, down at Eldora Speedway. It's going to get dirty. It's going to get fun. The Pro Lake models as well, a very fun car to drive. Still a couple of entries available from what I hear. So if you're looking to that, head over to the ANZCAR Facebook page and hit up the guys, because they would love to see you come drive. It's just going to be a fun race for all. And of course, at the end of the day, it is raising some money for a very, very good cause indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are joining the stream, we know times are tough across Australia at the moment as well, particularly with lockdowns and things like that. But if you can crack a coin or two out of your wallet to spare to raise some money for a mobility vehicle that's very much needed by a family in need, then we would obviously appreciate that as well. 100% of everything we raise goes directly to that cause, and of course you can donate directly. But there will be information about that on the stream tomorrow night, and we'll kick that one off at our usual time tomorrow evening. So do join us for that one, with the Cup having a week hiatus. So looking forward to having a fun broadcast tomorrow night.
Very much so. We will see you all tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you again on FGM Ecast, your E-Place for Pace. Good evening.